99X, it's Barnes and Leslie. We are your Morning X. Fram, easy question for you. What's the most money you've ever found?
I would say $20.
It was just laying there?
Yeah, it was laying there. And usually, I would turn it in, but it was just on the street.
I found a hundo, and it was in the wild. It was blowing in the wind. I mean, it blew up to my foot and got attached to my shoe, and I thought it was meant for me.
Sure.
But a little Barnes, back in the day, there was one, I was always into technology, and the one thing I wanted was a metal detector. I just really wanted, I don't know why, I don't know what I thought I was going to find, some secret treasure or what. But
I love metal detectors.
I think I got one from Sears.
Did you ever find anything?
Nothing.
Valuable?
Nothing. I mean, you're walking around just over the ground. I was like, what am I doing?
They do work, though.
Had the $70 one. I thought it was a big deal. I'd walk around Nerd City. But taking it to the extreme, I never knew there was a thing called magnet fishing.
Magnet fishing? What is that?
Well, you're about to find out because I have James and Barbie Kane joining us. And they just found something, I would say, a little special. Let's meet them. Hey, good morning, guys. How are you?
Hi, good morning.
Morning. What's going on, everyone?
Hey.
Lots going on in your world, and I want to hear about it. First of all, what is magnet fishing?
Okay, so magnet fishing is where you take a super powerful, giant neodymium earth-based magnet, not electrical, and you put it on the end of a rope. You find any kind of body of water, and you toss it in, you pull out riches.
You hope.
Wait, how much does the magnet weigh? Is it a lot?
Almost 5 pounds.
So how do you toss it? To Leslie's point, a heavy magnet on a rope, you just throw it as far as you can throw it?
I just picture I'm still playing softball in high school, and you, on the count of 3, you just swing for the fences.
And then you just drag it.
That's so interesting.
And then you slowly drag it in, yeah.
Well, how long have you guys been doing this?
We've been doing it on YouTube now for about almost actually a year now.
Until the last week or so, what was the biggest find you ever got?
Biggest as in most spectacular?
Not size. Most spectacular. What was the coolest or most interesting thing you ever drug up?
Full-size motorcycle, maybe?
A full-size motorcycle?
Yeah. Yep, one of our local ponds over here. Mm-hmm. It was a sport bike, too. It took about 7 people to get it out, but...
Yeah, I was going to ask. That had to be pretty heavy.
Yeah, that's pretty heavy.
Did it work?
No, it was waterlogged, and the engine was full of water, and...
Mm-hmm. I wish you could know the story that was attached to you find a freaking sport bike.
Yeah, sounds like something from a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What other treasures have you found before we get into the big one?
We've found so many. We've found cannonballs in Central Park.
Historical stuff.
Yeah. They were dated back to at least 250, 300 years, which means they were there before the park was even there.
Wow.
We've found 2 grenades, one in Sheep's Head Bay and another one in...
Gantry Plaza State Park across from the UN building.
The UN building. Mm-hmm.
Hand grenades.
Where do you live?
Yeah.
We're in Queens, New York.
In Queens,
New York City.
Mm-hmm.
So why is nobody getting on your turf? You're coming up with some pretty cool stuff. Why are you the only ones doing it, or are there other people doing the same thing?
That's an amazing question. I know it's going to happen now because of our recent discovery. We've been hit up by a couple of way more famous people than us. But there's so many laws and bylaws, and a lot of people are a little bit nervous to come magnet fishing over here.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, let's go ahead and let the cat out of the bag. What did you find recently that was pretty impressive?
So we found a locked safe with up to about $100,000 in it, in stacks of $100 bills.
Dirty, smelly $100 bills.
Dirty money's the best money.
What kind of condition was it in?
Spendable.
It was terrible. It was
a terrible
It was
condition.
sludgy, compacted mess and just falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
Talking to James and Barbie Kane, who are magnet fishermen, but one of you, I guess, is the fisherman when you film, right, Barbie? You film what's going on for your YouTube channel.
Not about 90%. I do some magnet fishing.
Do you toss the same 5-pounder?
I do sometimes, but I tend to swing a little bit of a lighter one.
So you find this safe and you pull it up. Take me through that, like when that happened. You get attached to something. You're like, I've got something big. And you're a big guy, James. So you start pulling this thing up. And then what?
Right away, I feel the click when it's in the water. And it's a hollow sound. So the click means when your magnet attaches something really like iron or steel, and you actually hear that sound. You feel the feeling of it hitting something hard. You hear the hollow sound. I'm like, babe, safe. I knew it right away. And then when you crest the water, yep, you can tell what a safe is. It's really strange. When you crest the water, you see a box. You're like, oh, it's definitely a safe. Bring it on up. At 99% of the time, it's just an empty safe. It's just fun to imagine.
Right.
Like, oh, we're getting jewels and gold coins from 1,000 years ago. And, you know, and Barbie sees something moving around in the back of the safe. There's a hole drilled out. And I thought it was baggies, like little Ziploc baggies, because I've seen those before inside. So I start shaking and I grab out this sludgy pile. And turns out, I'm like, babe, money. Life's about to change, money. Big old stacks of hundreds.
After you discover that it's money and it's like up to whatever you had mentioned, $100,000, what do you do next? Do you have to report it to someone?
We have family and friends that were like, get the heck out of there, put it in your pocket, and get out now. I couldn't live with myself. There's no way.
What's weird is it had a hole in it already.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we believe it is 100% criminal dumping ground area where they drilled it out, the back of it, and tried to take whatever they could. And then can you imagine leaving those 2 stacks of hundreds, what they already got out of there, enough to leave those 2 behind?
Mm-hmm.
So what did you do?
We we called NYPD immediately. Of course, they didn't believe it. And we had them come down, and maybe like 10 to 12 officers came down, and parks departments just to witness this.
And then what? So then do they haul you and the money down to the station? Do you have to or do they just say, you got it, go for it?
They do. They conduct a small investigation right there on the spot. There's no serials on the safe itself. There's just the money is falling apart. They didn't even want to take it for evidence. They probably didn't even think there would be any value.
So what? Then you start trying to piece it back together? What did you do with the money?
Put it right into a Ziploc bag. Right into a Ziploc bag and into the backpack.
Yeah, we didn't want a chance trying to peel the dollars to separate them, because the few times that James was touching them, it started to crumble more and more. So we were like, you know what? We knew about in DC, they have a department called the Bureau of Engraving and Printing. And in that bureau, they have a department for mutilated currency.
Oh.
And we knew we had to get it to them, leave it to the professionals, because there was no way that we could go and separate it with the deterioration just with barely touching it, that we could do it ourselves.
So where's the money now?
Washington, D.C., Federal Reserve Bank of America.
Well, you don't get to keep it?
We do. It's going to take about 6 months to 2 years to receive a check. What they're going to do is forensically put it all back together.
Oh, wow.
Yep. It doesn't matter the condition. It doesn't matter what it is. It could take up to 2 years. They will put all of it back together. And they estimated the range to be to $50,000 to $80,000. We're going to receive a check. I guess we'll talk again in 2 years when we get it.
Now, do you have to pay them to do this procedure for you?
100% free, tax-free, and also the money is 100% ours. Once you bring that in, that is our claim, and no one can even touch it at all.
Congratulations. You did the right thing, too. You call NYPD. Yes. That's amazing.
NYPD said it's yours.
What's crazy is here you guys find $100,000 in a safe that's not even secured. You offer it up to all these different people, which you know how much corruption there is in the world. I'm shocked that all these people didn't find a reason for you not to keep it.
I
but
know.
You get to the finish line, they're like, yeah, we'll just send you a check.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. It's unheard of. This is the first time in this much amount of money in history, I believe, of magnet fishing.
And to your point, so there were 2 stacks of hundreds in a bag, like all taped up, or what?
It was 2 open stacks with small, thin red rubber bands around them. Red or blue, I couldn't tell.
It was really smart what you guys, you just kept it in the Ziploc bag.
Yeah, where did these dudes or women or whoever have to go that they just toss $100K?
I'm just still in shock.
Some robbery gone bad, Barnes.
How much room was left in the safe? Like how much room? A lot?
Yeah, the safe is like a 30-pound safe.
That's incredible.
With water, it was like 40 or 50 pounds, but it was just those two things, and you could add millions in there.
Dude,
millions.
You just got a new fan. I'm about to follow your YouTube when you tell me what it is. But I just love the idea of this. The fact that, and you're going to have so many copycats now. Where can people follow on YouTube and actually watch that, right? They can watch this happen?
Yep.
Yes.
Oh,
just
excellent.
look up Let's Get Magnetic on YouTube.
That's
Let's
easy.
Get Magnetic.
Yeah, Let's Get Magnetic on YouTube. I'm about to go follow you right now.
Congratulations, guys.
Thank you.
Incredible story. This is like an after-school special that like came to life.
Yeah.
Barnes, this reminds me of the treasure hunting. It reminds me of Outer Banks.
Yes, totally.
You guys
like a real
actually
life.
found the loot.
All right, James and Barbie Kane. They just found $100,000
Wow.
magnet fishing and get to keep it. Thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
The Morning X with Barnes and Leslie.
99X.